Hello and welcome to the news for the week of September 12th. I am Delrith and I am joined once again by the illustrious, this time, Maxi.
I like orange flavored stuff.
All right, but first article, let's get into the news. First thing we're going to talk about is the glorious United States military has entered VR now and is set to get its first delivery from Microsoft, which is a $22 billion deal for something called the HoloLens. And the best way that I can summarize this for anyone that has no idea what this is, you remember Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter with the heads-up displays and like the building tracking and waypoints and live information and all that stuff? Yeah, that's real now. And Microsoft has essentially shipped out a bunch of these for testing in the field, and they're now being like used by actual soldiers in war zone situations. And basically what they're going to do is highlight buildings, give you coordinate information, give you live data on what's going on, give you real-time updates if you're in the field. This isn't the first thing that's used this. Fighter pilots have used this sort of stuff for years now, and it's just now getting to the standard soldier. But it's really interesting. Maxi, what do you think of like augmented reality war stuff?
I think it's actually pretty cool. I mean, look, obviously in America, you guys have you guys put a lot of weight into your military, whereas in Australia, like the military isn't really like a thing that we talk about all that often. But I will say that having stuff like augmented reality for creating, displays for even things like snipers, scouts, or even giving doctors and medics the ability to appear and help soldiers in real time, be able to like show them things, how to tie a tourniquet right or how to deal with a specific wound and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And being able to give feedback like that kind of stuff will hopefully save lives, So
that's the big focus.
For the clean, cheap price of $22 billion, it does make sense. I think it's kind of cool. I think it's interesting.
I think a lot of it is just going to be used, it looks like, to save lives and like provide information better. One of the key things is like highlighting moving objects. Obviously, if you're like out there at night, which it has built-in night vision, being able to highlight enemy soldiers sneaking up on you or something, or people trying to ambush you because the headset's going to recognize something through its data recognition software faster than a human being can, like right away. And so that sort of stuff is going to save lives. It's also, you have to understand, most things we have come from military use, like cell phones and things like that came from the military. The internet came from the military. It is all military stuff that they get first, which then gets moved over into the private market. And a lot of people don't realize that this sort of stuff has existed way longer than before, before public market. Before the public market has had it. Like the heads-up displays in aircraft and fighter pilot stuff existed way before VR headsets. So it's been around since the 80s. And honestly, it's cool to see that we're actually going into the future warfighter and the advanced warfighter setups. And hey, there's nothing much else to really say about that. Obviously, the employees were a little bit concerned about it, and there were definitely some people pushing back that Microsoft shouldn't be making things for the military. But that is the way to proceed forward and get more things available and more funding in certain areas. And regardless of how you feel about war in the military, it's going to save lives. And if it gets adapted, like Maxi said, over into civilian infrastructure, like medics and doctors and like EMTs and firefighters and all that, being able to see things that they normally wouldn't with their eyes, then hey, that's a win-win for me. Next up, the WoW Classic servers are on fire more than Ragnaros. And once again, Blizzard, ironically, Blizzard putting out fire. Get it, Maxi? Because Blizzard's
Wait, did you say Ragnaros?
Ragnaros, yeah.
You mean Ragnarok?
No, Ragnaros is the guy that holds the hammers on fire.
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. Okay. Yeah. Ragnarok is the end of all things through the Vikings. Completely different.
I'm just showing my ignorance when it comes to World of Warcraft.
That's true. But point is, the WoW Classic servers are broken once again because there's too many people trying to play because of the hype for the Lich King coming out soon. The re-release of the Lich King that people already paid for, that they have to pay for again. I have opinions about that, but that's dumb. But it's on fire again. Too many people are coming to the point where they have too many people are coming to the point where they have shut off.
I did the rock eyebrow raise just then.
Yep, to the point where they have shut off server transfers and are going to be restricting players. And if for the first time in forever, they've actually come on to explain the fact that it's not as easy as just adding things. He says, to put it as plainly as possible, this is Agrin, the guy that speaks for Blizzard, said, to put it as plainly as possible, we cannot increase capacity anymore without inviting additional and likely cascading failures to the service. There is no technological solution to this. There is no hardware solution to this. This situation will not improve when Wrath of the Lich King launches, and it will only get worse. So my only suggestion for anyone that's going to be playing on Wrath of the Lich King's release is find a medium populated server. And there is a server list posted here that shows that there's like 4 times population on like Sulfurious and 2.5 on Atiesh and all this other stuff, but it's going to be crazy. And moving on to something that's completely not to do with gaming, but involves a game in particular, and that is chess, with cheating accusations running rampant after the world champion loses and tweets out a meme.
It was so funny when I first started seeing this happening because obviously, look, this has affected every single person in the chess world at the moment.
Yep, absolutely.
It's the biggest cheating scandal that we've seen in years. And the worst part about it is that there's no real evidence. So to quickly break it down, the story it's all centered around the Sinkfield Cup, which is part of the Grand Chess Tour, which is just basically part of all the major tournaments. Hans Niemann, who's a young American player, had a wildcard entry, and he was a pretty highly rated player, but he's not very well known or anything like that. And he came up against Magnus Carlsen, who is insane. Like he's one of the best chess players.
He is the best player in the world. Yeah.
He is the world's best chess player. They basically had a match together, and Magnus Carlsen actually ended up losing. He had a bit of a nightmare. As it says in the article, it seemed clear fairly early on that he'd messed up or underestimated Niemann pretty badly. Carlsen was still in a position that could have led to a draw, and you'd expect the world champion to convert that, but instead he made a very bad move and lost. The 19-year-old Niemann had unbelievably beaten the best in the world. So basically overnight, this Niemann guy becomes a household name in chess.
Yep.
But what threw all of this into the spotlight was Magnus immediately heading to Twitter, I think only an hour or so after the loss.
Yeah.
And he tweeted out that he had withdrawn from the tournament entirely. I've always enjoyed playing in the STL Chess Club, and I hope to be back in the future. Which seems like, tail between the legs and he's running away, but that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, he seems really ashamed. It looks like his ego got crushed. That's honestly, to me, that's a baby move. Like that's a childish move.
He also posted a meme of soccer coach Mourinho, who says, basically, if he says anything, he's going to be in trouble. His exact quote is, "If I speak, I'm in big trouble."
I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
And the entire chess world has seen this video and seen this meme that's been posted by Carlsen and immediately thought that this is him accusing his opponent Niemann of cheating.
And just to clarify, he beat him over the board, and it was completely scrutinized. There was no way he cheated. Like, Carlsen made mistakes, played poorly, and lost the match. There is no doubt in anyone's mind that he lost the match legitimately and he got beaten fair and square. The problem is that he is getting accused of cheating because he admitted to cheating in the past. Maxie, you could talk more about that, but yeah, he admitted to cheating when he was 12, and people are crucifying him and saying he's cheating now because of it.
And to finalize the story, Niemann was also quoted as saying, you spend your entire life looking up to someone, and then you meet them, and you know that your dream has come true. I lived my dream for a day, beating Magnus, and then all of this has happened. It must be heartbreaking, and I feel for Niemann, and I hope to hear about him performing in chess tournaments very soon, because by the sounds of things, he has some serious potential. If you can beat the world number one, then you probably have the ability to get really up there. So
even if it was like half a fluke because the world number one played bad, he still beat him. And the fact that his victory is being destroyed by him basically, oh, you cheated when you're 12. That's so messed up. Grow up, Magnus. Seriously. Next up, we've got Assassin's Creed. So much Assassin's Creed, Maxie. When you've played 14 games in a series, you know what you want? Another 7 games.
Dude, I'm so excited. Hey, this is kind of a follow-up on a previous story that we've done a couple times, being like, oh, the new Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed Mirage. Oh, no, the new Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed Japan. It actually turns out we were correct.
It's both of them,
and yeah, it's both of them and then more. So we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC coming at the end of this year. Then we also have Assassin's Creed Mirage coming in 2023. And then we also have Assassin's Creed Infinity platform which I don't think we've gotten too much information on just yet, but it seems like a launching off platform for all of the Assassin's Creed storylines.
Yeah.
Think back to Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where you could see all the different stories and stuff like that. I think it's going to be the ability to kind of access these stories as you go. We haven't got any names. All we've gotten is Codename Red, Codename Hex, and Codename Jade. All we know about Codename Jade is that it's a AAA RPG action-adventure game for mobile devices
In China.
set in ancient China. Exactly. And then we also got a small little cinematic trailer for Assassin's Creed Hex.
It's the Assassin's Creed Blair Witch Project.
The Assassin's Creed Salem, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is
absolutely.
interesting. Like that kind of grabbed me a little bit. But yeah, so all we know is that Assassin's Creed Infinity is a hub that both portends our fate under the ever-expanding history of the series, but will more practically connect the vast web of games together somehow. We don't know why, and Ubisoft made Infinity sound super confusing, but we know that it's basically just going to function as a launcher, which is super odd to have a launcher inside your own already. So if you purchase this game on Steam, Del,
You
purchase this game on Steam, you hit play.
Okay.
On, let's say, 2023, you want to play Assassin's Creed Hex, right?
Okay.
You hit play. That launches the Ubisoft launcher, which then launches Infinity, which then launches your Assassin's Creed.
So what you're telling me is I need a 40 terabyte hard drive
Yeah, basically.
to run all the Assassin's Creeds. That's what I'm hearing.
Your CPU is going to explode. No, but yeah, so we haven't really learned too much out. Obviously, it has been confirmed that there will be an Assassin's Creed in Japan. We've got Mirage confirmed. Now we've got Hex confirmed, and we've got Assassin's Creed Jade. And then there's a Netflix partnership as well, which is happening more and more with Ubisoft wanting, specifically giving Netflix the ability to stream some of their games, which is seeming like something that a lot of companies are looking into. You know, Netflix is looking at adding games to their streaming service. I don't really know how well that's going to work, but, you know, hey, to each their own. You know, if it works, it works. Awesome. But, yeah, so you might be wondering how
because
Ubisoft
Stadia was such a successful platform. And streaming games over the internet, especially with a console and everything dedicated to it, has been so unbelievably successful that
especially competitive shooters.
Oh, yeah. Streaming Netflix games, obviously, with Netflix's history of great infrastructure and latency, I'm sure it'll work great.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, you know, you might be wondering what's next for Assassin's Creed, and the answer to that is everything. Everything is next. Apparently, it's just never going to stop. I think, you know, I don't know if this is good. I don't know if it's good.
I don't know.
I was excited when I heard about Mirage because we're going back to the old school, you know, not RPG, level up, +4 damage kind of gameplay. I was excited for that. But now seeing that there are 4 games currently in development for one series, I don't know. How would you feel, guys, if, you know, it turned out that the next Call of Duty was going to be 4 separate games worked on by 4 separate studios at the exact same time? Like, it's a worrying... It's concerning.
I think they need to stop leaning into the Animus stuff. I'm so over the Animus stuff. I think everyone I've ever talked to, and we've done like big interviews and stuff back on the Joe Show, even the developers seemed like they were over the Animus. And I just hope they just get rid of it. I don't want any more Animus. I don't want any more real life stuff. It's just stop. Your games are good when you're playing the game in that time period. The Animus stuff just sucks. And I hope they keep it away.
The whole point of the Animus originally was to train Desmond to become an assassin himself, to then fight Abstergo in the current timeline, like in the future or whatever. But instead, Desmond was killed by a god, and then the Animus became a glorified television set.
Yep. And it's dumb now. Every time that I get to an Animus section in any of their games, I'm just like, and I'm just like, just going through it as fast as possible. I don't care. Let me back to my character. I want to keep stabbing things.
Look, you're saying Hex is going to be Van Helsing. I'm saying it's going to be more based on witchcraft and magic in the Salem, you know, era.
I'm saying I hope it's Van Helsing. That'd be cool.
I reckon. Yeah.
Who knows? Town of Salem. I mean, Salem didn't really have anything crazy going on. Dude, we played Town of Salem.
Assassin's Creed Town of Salem.
Turns out Maxi was the baker the whole time. Burn him.
Ubisoft, I want that, dude. I want to, dude. Give me the investigator role or the Godfather, dude. Hell yeah.
Just imagine
Anybody who
like
doesn't
Tony
know what Town of
Soprano
Salem-
just jumping from rooftops. Oh man.
Dude, anybody who doesn't know what Town of Salem is so confused right now.
Diablo devs say Activision is back to its old union busting tricks, and they accuse the Call of Duty publisher of spending hundreds of thousands on defeating their latest union drive. And honestly, I'm not surprised. They've gotten caught doing this. They hired the best law firm in the entire country for busting unions to bust unions. They tried to do this with the whole Blizzard thing for World of Warcraft, with those people trying to unionize. They try every time any one of their company branches wants to try to unionize to get better working conditions and rights. Blizzard spends way more money in busting the union than they would by just increasing people's salaries and like just preventing them from unionizing. And it's awful. Are we really surprised that every time we read about Activision or Blizzard in any regard, it's just them being douchebags again? Like, it's like these people are trying to get better conditions and like actually have some sort of accountability and to unionize, and now their Blizzard or Activision just went straight into busting it. Maxi, are you surprised? Am I surprised? Is anyone surprised anymore?
When you look at the screenshots of the PowerPoint presentation that Reed Smith, who is the organization that offers union avoidance services, they basically have counterattacks set up. So what they can do to remove an employee's desire to join or create a union. And some of these dot points just read off as...
Yep. Messed up. It's just messed up. Yeah.
It's just messed up, man. The 5 points they've got up is that they must begin with premise that employee perception is the reality. So it's basically saying they need to acknowledge that the employees are correct, that the way things have been going are not right, and they need to be fixed. But then a plan should be implemented even before knowledge of union organizing efforts. So let the employee know that you plan to change the things that they're not happy about. Then, and this is the worst one, create an impression that employees are, quote unquote, in the loop.
The impression, not the reality. It just make them think it.
Yeah, make them think that they are in the loop even though they're not, because that'll make them less likely to want to unionize. Then highlight stability created by seemingly harsh corporate decisions. So make them understand the benefits of not unionizing, make them understand that the decisions that are made create stability long term. This is, and I'm telling you right now, this is corporate jargon for threatening people. Yep. If you join a union, there's a good chance you're going to lose your job. And we've seen it. If you've watched The Office, you saw it there. It happens. There's a scene where someone mentions unionizing and the manager of the company comes in and says, if corporate even gets a whiff of a union, you will all lose your jobs like that. Yep. It'll be so quick, you won't even have a chance to recover, right? And then the last point is publicize an open door policy, which is just a way for managers to keep a hold of all the people that come in and express, dislike or, express worries or concerns about certain things. It's a way for managers to be able to keep notes of those things and potentially get rid of, we'll call them troublemaking employees. So all in all, it's scary.
Yeah, the craziest thing is that this company has done this before. And this is the same playbook and the exact same bullet points they used when Raven Software tried to unionize. And it did a lot of really scummy stuff to integrate Q&A staff directly into other disciplines, and argued that for this and other reasons, the entire studio should vote on a union rather than just those in Q&A who were trying to unionize. And the NLRB sided with the workers who were trying to unionize because QA was being abused and having horrible working conditions. But the Reed Smith company still delayed all those conditions for months, because it's not a matter of winning. It's until you're making it so you're too tired to fight anymore, and just wearing you down and making your life hell and making all those people's lives hell until they just give up and give in. And so this is all just designed to like slow down unionizing and maybe just tire people out completely, because you have a right to unionize. You legally can unionize. You can make a union in your company if you get enough people to vote for it. And these tactics are all just about like putting tank traps and mines and, caltrops and barbed wire and everything in your path. and just make it seem impossible so that you never try to exercise your rights. And it's just scummy, man. I don't think it's good for gamers or anyone. And it's just sad to keep hearing it, even with Microsoft going to buy them. And Microsoft said they're going to remain neutral, but obviously they're not stopping this company from doing it already. And finally, we have more Activision Blizzard news, and it's the fact that Overwatch is planning on locking heroes behind their battle pass.
Anybody who's been excited for Overwatch 2 would have seen a lot of different breakdowns of how the game is going to work. A lot of us have, since the beta, have learnt that a lot of the old original characters are going to be ported over to Overwatch. And for a brief period of time last week, or long enough for people to take notice, there was an advertised $40 watch point pack for Overwatch 2, which included access to Overwatch 2's Season 1 Battle Pass, which gives you exclusive skins and a heap of the game's new in-game currency. But it also had a line at the bottom that said that premium Battle Pass owners, quote-unquote, automatically receive access to Overwatch's latest hero, Kiriko. This has sent everybody into an absolute buzz because it means that some Overwatch characters are going to be locked behind an actual paywall. So not only are you going to have to purchase the game, but then you're going to have to purchase heroes as well, which is not odd. This has been done before. Rainbow Six Siege has done it before. Like, it's been done before in plenty of games. But they said originally when the game was coming out, I think until maybe 3 or 4 months ago, that characters will not be locked behind a paywall.
Yep.
The Blizzard VP and commercial leader on Overwatch, John Spector, has responded to the listing on Twitter, and he has clarified that all of the new heroes will be on the free track of the Battle Pass, and that Blizzard would share more details before the game's October 4th launch. I think what this means is that if you have the premium Battle Pass, you unlock the character immediately. But if you don't, you have to work towards the character to unlock. And I am not a fan of either of those things. I think that the heroes should be available to everybody on launch. I don't think anybody should get an advantage, who should get a leg up on learning how to use and operate characters. I think it's really shitty.
Yeah, it is. It's really crappy. And it's just them using word lawyerism to try to get around it. And it's basically, oh no, it's not locked behind a battle pass. Dude, if something takes 100 hours to unlock, but you could unlock it for $4.99 or something and get it instantly and not be one of the people left out from using it, you're going to spend the $4.99. And I don't care what they say. That's paywalling it. I genuinely do not care what anyone else's opinion is on that. My personal opinion is that is paywalling it. If it's 1,000 hours, it's just a paywall. You're basically forcing people to do it.
Listen, we really, really try to remain as neutral as possible, because we're presenting you guys with the news.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just want to present facts, right? And sometimes you can say, this kind of sucks, or I don't. This is, everybody keeps talking about how, like, oh, is this where gaming is headed? Rah, rah. No, it's not. This isn't where gaming is headed. This is where we are right now. Like, Blizzard just got done with an absolute PR disaster over Diablo Immortal, over gouging you for every dollar. And they are actually ballsy enough to have purchases in anything. You would think that anybody else would just tone it down, would back off on these kinds of purchases. Not Blizzard, man. Blizzard actually out here doubling down.
It's crazy, dude. Yeah.
They did this thing with Diablo Immortal, and then they come out with all these paid plans for Diablo 4, which freaks everybody out, and now they're doing it with Overwatch. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. This is the most depressing thing. If you're an avid video gamer, this should scare you. And I'm not just saying that for the people who don't have money. Even if you do have money, even if you are someone who can afford to buy whatever they want in all of these video games, this is terrifying to see that every little aspect. Call of Duty does it with guns. Overwatch is now doing it with operators. Diablo did it with gear. Like, companies do it with skins. These gaming companies are doing everything they can to gouge you of every single little dollar that they can, while simultaneously treating the people that develop these games and create these games like absolute shit. It is just the top 1% of the 1% that are benefiting from this stuff, and we are handing over our money like it's nothing. I feel like an insane person on a fucking street corner holding up a sign saying the end is nigh, the end is nigh. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a terrifying reality that we're living in right now, and it doesn't change unless you get angry about it. And I think it's time to get angry. And I mean really angry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold every single developer accountable for this stuff, because it's not going to end. It's never going to stop, and you're going to be the one holding the receipt.
Blizzard did the same thing too with Diablo Immortal. You remember when they were like, "Oh, you can't directly buy gear in our game," and then they made gems and were like, "It's not gear; they're called gems." They're doing the same stupid rules or like words lawyering that they did in fucking Diablo with Overwatch now, where they're like, "Oh, we'll never sell you a hero. We'll just make it incredibly inconvenient for you to unlock it if you don't spend money." That's the same thing, dude. And the fact that they think their player base is that dumb to just be like, "Oh yeah, no, I can earn it for free. I just have to pay 150 hours of your game." They're like, no, that's dumb. Blizzard, you guys are being complete dicks. Like your marketing team and your corporate company that's doing this to your player base after people are already upset with Overwatch 2 and how it came out and how there's no PvE yet and a billion other things. The fact that you're already thinking how you can milk them by using rules lawyering and oh, we didn't technically say we wouldn't make it a huge grind. No, like that's so shady, and fuck you. Like,
name a game that has come out in the last. I'm gonna give you an 8-year gap, and this is for the comment section. This is for you guys watching. Name a game that has a competitive based multiplayer that exists that does not have a premium currency.
It's hard.
Name one for me, man, because I have been sitting here for the last 40 seconds while Dal has been talking, racking my brain, and I cannot think of one. Like everything has premium currency.
Yep.
The idea is to make you buy the game and then make you buy it again and again and again and again.
Elden
and it
Ring.
is so depressing. Is that a competitive multiplayer game?
Yeah, there's a lot of competitive multiplayer in there. I guess it's like
there?
different though. Yeah, people fight all the time. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, but what
There's
I'm saying
huge
is like,
PvP scene. Not really ranked.
but is there like matchmaking and all that kind of stuff?
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, think about like all the top games. Fortnite, obviously, V-Bucks. You've got Grand Theft Auto doesn't have premium currency, but its workable currency is absolutely garbage and takes hundreds of hours to even get one good thing in the game. CSGO doesn't have a premium currency. That came out years ago. PUBG went to premium currency like a year after it came out. Call of Duty has had premium currency for ages.
Yeah, it's everything. It's pretty much everything.
I'm racking my brain.
And
Diablo,
honestly,
Apex Legends, like it doesn't stop.
The fact, the thing that offends me so much here is just the fact that like they essentially lied, and to hide their lie, they're like, "Nah, this is a technicality." No, it's a lie. You lied. You're selling a hero. You're basically forcing people to pay money if there's any large, meaningful grind behind it. Like, just don't put up with it. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm probably not even going to play Overwatch 2 when it comes out, because every time that I hear this, I just get sick to my stomach, because it's like nonstop, dude. Every week it's something Blizzard's doing that's anti-consumer. Every single week it's something Activision's doing that's horrible for their employees. I'm done. Like I'm just done. The fact that they're doing this again, like you said, they have the balls to do this after Diablo Immortal so soon after, to just be like, "Oh, it's not really the same." No, forget. I'm done. You've lost me.
It just sucks, man.
It's awful.
Blizzard used to be so good. It used to be Blizzard's coming out with the game and you get so excited. And now, again, I'm so sorry, guys, that like this hasn't been like hilarious or fun or anything like that, but it kind of has to be said. But there's a good chance that we'll get approached to play Overwatch 2 for a review or something like that. And you know, decisions get made based on, you know, keeping the channel alive and all that kind of stuff. But like, I think it's time to stop like letting companies get away with this stuff and really actively call them out. And remember, that's the thing. Don't forget what they did with Diablo Immortal. Don't forget what they're doing with Overwatch. Don't forget what they're probably going to do with the next StarCraft. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Don't let yourself forget, and don't let them forget that you remember, because it's just going to keep happening, and it's going to get to the point where games are going to be, then they're going to go from buying the game up front to paying per hour that you play, and it's just shit. It's just so depressing, man. It's so sad.
Let us know what you think about this down below, and again, I'm sorry for being so forceful about like I'm done, but it's just, how many times, man? Like I think on the news, we've talked about Activision Blizzard or Overwatch or like these bad decisions. Like every week, almost, it feels like every week there's something more happening. Every month there's something happening. It's just nonstop. It's a barrage, and I'm just done with it. So let me know if you're done too. Let us know what you thought about any of this. Maxie, what do you want people to comment down below this week in all of our videos?
Just comment that it's all going to be okay.
Tell us it's going to be okay. Just say the phrase, it's going to be okay, Maxie. I just want everyone to say it's going to be okay, Maxie.
Yeah, no, look, guys, thank you so much for all the comments on the previous videos. It's been really, really fun reading them. I didn't get around to responding to as many last week, but I'll let you guys know really quickly right now. I watched the first season of Barry, and Haley and I have decided to finally commit to some of the Marvel TV shows. We've been watching that. And we also watched Fleabag. So, yeah, you guys had some awesome recommendations. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Anyway, that's going to be it for the news. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button. And until the next video, this is Delrith and Maxie, and we'll be seeing you. Bye.
Bye.